You know that feeling, right? Starting the day already feeling like you're behind? Or that mid-morning slump that just hits you like a ton of bricks? Well, what if I told you the cause isn't your job or your massive to-do list, but the handful of things you do almost on autopilot before you've even had a sip of coffee? Let's dive in and take a closer look.
So let's just put it out there. If you're often feeling tired or unfocused or just plain stressed, could the real culprit be hiding in that very first hour of your day? It's a pretty powerful thought. And to find the answer, we have to start by looking at how we often sabotage our own mornings without even realizing it.
So where does the problem usually begin? Look, it's not about a lack of willpower or anything like that. It's usually about a fundamental mismatch, a clash between our modern habits and our, well, ancient biology. More specifically, our body's internal clock.
At the heart of this whole thing is your circadian rhythm. Just think of it like your body's own master clock. It's this internal 24-hour cycle that's supposed to tell you when to feel sleepy and when to feel wide awake and alert. It is absolutely fundamental to our health. But here's the kicker. It is so easy to disrupt.
This is where the power of consistency really comes into play. When your wake-up times are all over the map, sleeping in late on the weekends, you're basically giving your body what some researchers call social jet lag. It's like you're flying to a different time zone every single Friday night. And this doesn't just confuse your internal clock. Over time, it can lead to some very real metabolic damage. So the big takeaway here isn't that you have to wake up at 5 a.m. It's that you should try to wake up at the same time.
Okay, so consistent timing is a huge piece of the puzzle. But what we put into our bodies first thing in the morning, well, that sends another really powerful set of signals. Let's talk about the internal alarms we're triggering with our choices about fuel and fluids. It's such a common habit, right? Wake up and immediately reach for coffee or tea. But here's the thing. After a whole night of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. And caffeine? It's a diuretic, which can actually make that dehydration worse. Even more important, drinking it on an empty stomach can be pretty harsh on your digestion. Starting with a glass of water, on the other hand, now that's crucial for rehydrating your whole system and gently waking up your internal organs.
And what about actual fuel? I mean, so many of us just grab our keys and run out the door without eating a single thing. What does skipping that first meal of the day really do to your body?
Well, it's kind of like trying to start a long road trip with an empty gas tank. It just doesn't work well. Skipping breakfast disrupts your metabolism. It basically tells your body to go into energy conservation mode. And that leads directly to that classic mid-morning energy slump and can even mess with your overall gut health in the long run.
Okay, so we've covered internal timing and we've covered fuel. Now let's talk about the outside world. The environment you wake up in, specifically light and stress, send some incredibly powerful signals to your brain and your body.
Seriously, think about it for a second. When your eyes pop open, what's the very first thing you look at? Is it the sunlight streaming through a window? Or is it the glowing screen of your phone? And the difference is huge. Reaching for your phone first thing literally bombards your brain with emails, notifications, and news, immediately triggering a stress response. Natural sunlight, though, does the exact opposite. It helps regulate the hormones that control your mood and your sleep-wake cycle. A lack of that morning sunlight can leave you feeling groggy and just out of sync all day.
And this brings us right to stress. For so many people, the morning is just this frantic rush. Here's what's happening in your body. It starts when the alarm rings a little too late. That triggers the mad dash to get ready. Your brain perceives this as a threat, which activates your stress response. And the result? A flood of the stress hormone cortisol, right at the very start of your day. Beginning your day in this state of panic is just a recipe for anxiety and exhaustion.
All right, finally, let's look at the physical part of all this. The very first moves you make, or maybe the moves you don't make when you get out of bed, have a way bigger impact than you might think. You know that first instinct to just hunch over your phone in bed? Well, that's setting a pattern for poor posture that can lead to long-term spine issues. By skipping even just a few minutes of gentle movement, you're missing a crucial chance to wake up your muscles and joints. And here's one we often ignore. Your body gives you some pretty clear signals in the morning. Ignoring the urge to use the bathroom can disrupt your digestion for the rest of the day.
Okay, I know that was a lot about what can go wrong. But the good news, the really good news, is that all of this is fixable. It's not about having some perfect morning routine. It's just about being intentional. So let's pivot and talk about how to actually architect a better morning for yourself.
This is where it gets really practical. Let's talk simple swaps. Instead of coffee on an empty stomach, start with water to rehydrate your system. Instead of checking your phone first thing, spend just 5 minutes getting some natural sunlight to properly set your body clock. Swap that frantic rush for waking up just 15 minutes earlier. That alone can help you avoid that cortisol spike. Instead of skipping breakfast, have a simple protein-rich meal to keep your energy stable. And trade that morning inactivity for 5 minutes of light stretching to wake your body up gently. See? These aren't huge life-altering changes. They're simple swaps.
And that's really what this is all about. You do not need some elaborate 2-hour routine to see a difference. If you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Small, intentional changes in that first hour create a ripple effect that can genuinely transform the other 23 hours of your day.
Your morning is pretty much the opening note for your entire day. It really does set the tone for everything that follows. So the only question left is, what will your tomorrow sound like?